And welcome back to the show. Nobel Peace Prize winning organization ICANN, the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, they're using their new high-profile status to urge countries to eliminate nuclear weapons from military arsenals. Executive Director Beatrice Finn says she wants to send a message that it's not too late even for North Korea to have a nuclear-free military.
This is a moment of incredible tension globally. We have heard in recent weeks in this very building threats to use nuclear weapons. There are still more than 15,000 in existence around the world, and unless we work now to eliminate them, it's almost certain that they'll be used again.
In terms of North Korea, no. Obviously, we do not have members in North Korea. They are not a country where civil society can work freely and engage, which makes that very, very difficult. Here in North Korea, here at the United Nations, needing to defend themselves, needing to argue why they're doing what they're doing. And they're doing that because there's a certain expectations that you don't do that.
And another major convention going on today concerning nuclear arms. It's the International Luxembourg Forum on Preventing Nuclear Catastrophe. It's a large non-governmental organization that unites arms experts and nuclear non-proliferation discussions. This year's conference taking place in Paris, and that's where our diplomatic correspondent Ellie Hochenberg is live for us. Ellie, as we just heard there, the threat of nuclear war seems closer than it has in generations. It's the threat of a nuclear use has happened. The threats have been made many times just in recent weeks. What's happening at this convention where you are in Paris? How do you kind of step back from the brink?
Absolutely, Jeff, and perhaps the unanimous opinion here is that this is nowadays is the most dangerous era in history, including the Cold War, when we're talking about the nuclear power struggle. And rhetoric is definitely key in this respect, because we've seen a consistent escalation in the rhetoric, let it be President Trump vis-a-vis North Korea or the Iran deal for that matter. And rhetoric is can lead to a change in policy. And we had a chance to speak with former U.S. Secretary of Defense William Perry, who is participating in this conference. And let's take a listen to what he had to say, or what he hopes President Trump will do.
I can't relate to people even talking about a World War III, because it simply indicates they do not understand what a World War III is. A World War III is the end of the world. It's not 10 million, 50 million, 100 million casualties. It's the end of the world. Directions from the United States, from North Korea, is more than, it signifies more than a lack of decorum. It signifies that the two sides do not understand how dangerous it is, that it creates an environment where a war could start. We could all too easily go nuclear.
And, Ellie, I know that you also had the chance to sit down and talk with some of the world's most renowned nuclear negotiators, people who sit down with world powers to talk about ways to limit nuclear arms. Who did you meet?
Indeed, Jeff, we had a chance to sit down with Hans Blix, the former chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and he's thinking about the long-term strategy of how to deal with emerging nuclear powers, first and foremost in the Iranian issue. And if Trump will indeed decide to nix the Iran nuclear deal, the ramifications will exceed the borders of both domestic politics and bilateral relations into somewhat undermining the diplomatic clout of the international community as a whole. Let's take a listen.
The U.S. would be acting against its obligations in the UN. This was a deal that was worked out over many years, and it was approved by the Security Council, and under the UN Charter, under which the U.S. is a member, the members are obliged to respect the deal. So it would commit a violation of the UN Charter.
All right, Ellie, thank you so much for these live updates from the conference. Appreciate your reporting. Moving now to a different story. Google has reportedly uncovered evidence that Russian operatives exploited the company's platforms in an attempt to interfere in last year's American presidential race. Company investigators found that tens of thousands of dollars spent on advertisements by Russian agents who wanted to spread disinformation across Google's many products, YouTube, Gmail, and the double-click ad network. Google runs the world's largest online advertising business, and YouTube is the world's largest online video site. Now, to talk about some of these issues, I'm joined here with cybersecurity expert and researcher Oren Elimelech. Oren, let's talk a little bit about disinformation campaigns. How do they work? How does an agent or someone working on behalf of someone get fake news or disinformation to appear in an ordinary person's search results?
All right. So Google has an extensive, as you said, advertising network. Okay. So anyone, including you, myself, or anybody else, can publish content. It costs them money. That can be accessed using the Google Ads display network, Google Ads publisher sites. All those exchange networks enables, and it's all connected to the entire Google infrastructure, which is YouTube, Gmail, display ads. Everything is connected. You can buy that via a publisher yourself directly. And whatever content you promote in terms of money and in terms of where's the ad located, where is it published, can give that in of search engine AdWords direct information, enables you to access that. So if you type, for example, a certain word, Trump, you can get more information regarding that according to the search.
But so many people have published blogs or posts, with the word Trump. How do these kind of troll farms or these, these agents, how do they understand the algorithm or the secret proprietary technology to make sure their results, their articles jump to the headlines, the front page?
How do you get the first page?
Yeah, how do you get
the first mark? So this is involved in two things. One, there is ad-sponsored network, so you can actually put money. The more money you put, you get higher. And you can see if you search in Google, you see ad-sponsored. So that is one part. The other one is optimization, SEO. So it's not a secret. Google publishes what he thinks it's relevant, and by optimizing, making sure your site is fast, accessible, has the right word, and also interconnected to other sites, which are leading sites, you can push your site up the word, and including the relevant words and also money.
So just a few weeks ago, we heard from Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook really admitting for the first time this is a much more serious issue than they originally thought it would be, the disinformation campaign, fake advertisements. This has an issue that's touched Facebook, now Google as well. I mean, what will these companies, how do these social media giants kind of respond to all these troll farms and fake ads and fake articles?
So it's actually a very, very big problem, because everybody's discussing this, so Facebook and Google should develop a strong algorithm to find out those bogus fake news, and could be also for terrorism organizations you just discussed. But it's not that easy. How can you differentiate what is legitimate and what is not? So the solution, which is recently reported in a Facebook policy, for example, they're going to hire 1,000 more employees to go over all the ads and then have a personal human intervention to see and review that before it's going to go online. This will create a delay, but that is, I think, what is the best
so they're
solution.
Hiring hundreds and hundreds of people to to look and evaluate.
Yes.
Is that the cost now of doing business in the new?
Yeah, I think I think they should invest more in the algorithm to make it more automatic, but it has to go through certain human inspection, and so it has to be a balance. Also, if you mentioned Facebook, they recently there is what is called Publishing Journalist Project. They for several new individuals which participate in this research, you have actually in the top of the search in Facebook, you have an icon which gives you information about the publisher. It could be myself, a journalist, anybody else, and you can actually see and decide for yourself if this information is actually honest or not.
Wow, really incredible stuff. And obviously these social media giants are responding, but this is a big story that we'll stay on top of. All right, Oren, thanks for breaking. I'm not a smart man by any means. I don't understand computer technology, but thanks for breaking it down to really explain how this works and why it's such a big problem. Appreciate your time. All right, a lot more news ahead on the show. Still to come. An exclusive look inside the Israeli Army's newest mixed-gender battalion. Men and women fighting combat roles side by side on the border, keeping Israel safe.
I saw raw, untamed power.
And the wait is over. The long-awaited trailer for the next Star Wars movie has just been released. And one of the Middle East's oldest organs takes center stage.